tonight on NXT.
On 205 Live,
William Regal has some choice words for the Undisputed Era.
we have Noam Dar versus Lio Rush.
Lars Sullivan
Brian Kendrick,
crushes a jobber.
a jobber.
The Mighty take on the Street Profits. And for the main event,
And for the main event,
we have
Mustafa Ali
Otis Derbovic
versus
versus the Cruel
the Crew,
Tommaso Ciampa.
Hideo Itami.
Who wins? Who loses? Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Let's see what happened. So, starting off on 205 Live, we had Noam Dar versus Lio Rush in a match that was good, but didn't end the way that it should. So Lio Rush begins with a cheap shot before the match, but Noam Dar just brushes it off and begins his assault. For the first couple of minutes, Noam Dar had both speed, power, and skill over Lio Rush. Lio managed to get some offense in once he had higher ground, though, with Noam Dar outside of the ring, because he's short. Lio Rush starts getting cocky as he was taking control of the match, especially after picking up Noam Dar and body slamming him. Lio gave a heavy kick to Noam Dar's weak knee, kicking him into the corner, but made a miscalculation as Noam dodged Lio Rush's flying charge at him, which caused Lio Rush to hurt himself on the ropes, which would have made Jonn very happy. Noam Dar hits him with the Northern Lights suplex, goes for the pin, Rush kicks out. After a number of counters, Noam Dar derails Lio Rush by suplexing him into the corner. However, Lio manages to trick Noam into the corner, kicking him hard in the knee, followed up by a roundhouse kick, and then finishing Noam Dar with the Dragon Skull, his frog splash that he does. I don't know why Lio Rush won this match. It doesn't make much sense to me. He needs a frequent opponent, a rival, someone to challenge him. But instead he's winning every match. He's being protected. And right now he's not at a point where he should be protected. I don't know what they're going to be going with. Maybe he'll end up challenging Cedric Alexander and just getting his ass whipped back down to the bottom of the ladder. But it doesn't make any sense for him to beat Noam Dar like this. Especially after all the shit talking he did last week. And all the sudden wins that he managed to get. So, it was a good match brought down by a really bad choice of endings. We had a backstage interview with Cedric and Buddy Murphy hyping up their upcoming championship match. Brian Kendrick takes on Jobber McJobberface. The match ends with a very quick captain's hook. That's it. After the match, Drew Gulak decided he wanted to turn at McJobberface and decides to beat him for a couple minutes. Afterwards, Brian Kendrick kind of tells him to stop, and he picks up the jobber, and as he's going to throw him out of the ring, somebody in the crowd yells, "Get him, Spanky!" And then we had a backstage promo with Mustafa Ali hyping up his match later with Hideo Itami. TJP talking about how he doesn't give a shit about the ethics and traditions of being a luchador, nor about Lince Dorado. And then we get to the main event. Mustafa Ali versus Hideo Itami. Itami begins with taunting and trolling Ali, but Mustafa begins landing strike after strike on Itami, landing impressive just counter after counter. He hits Itami with a spinning heel kick, goes for the pin, but Hideo kicks at one. Itami manages to get outside the ring, pulls Mustafa down, spinning him around and hitting his head on the post, then pulling him down out of the ring, works him for a moment, slams his head into the apron, the hardest part of the ring, and then brings him back in. Itami appears to have been hurt bad, bleeding from the mouth. But he maintains control throughout the match. Mustafa started to counter, but got shut down by Itami. Hideo begins hitting and aiming for Mustafa Ali's head. The two begin to exchange blows before Hideo reverses Mustafa Ali into a spiked DDT. So he's really trying to give Mustafa Ali another concussion to try and take him out. Which would have been a bad idea giving the ending to a match in Raw just the other day. Hideo gets Ali into a one-legged Boston Crab, and then starts stomping on his neck. After a struggle, Ali managed to get to the rope, to which Itami decided, you know what, why don't you just get out of the ring, and boots him in the face, knocking him out. Side of the ring, I mean. While outside the ring, Mustafa Ali gets thrown about, even thrown into one of the crew who was not paying attention. I believe he was looking down during that moment, so he may have fallen asleep since it was recorded after SmackDown Live. Ali manages to climb back in at the count of 8 after Hideo Itami thought he had just won this one. He was like getting ready to celebrate, and Ali climbs back in at 8. And this is when Ali begins his counterattack. Stringing together multiple large moves, ending in a powerbomb. Itami gets pinned, kicks out at 2. Once the fight went outside the ring, Ali tried to flip back from the stairs, only to get kicked in the head. Then he gets dragged back into the ring, kicks out of the Itami's pin, hits Itami with a tornado DDT. Itami kicks out. Ali tries to go to the top rope, only to get hit by Itami, who follows up by hitting Mustafa Ali with the Falcon Arrow. And Ali kicks out of the Falcon Arrow. Itami starts kicking Mustafa, getting Ali onto the top turnbuckle. But Mustafa Ali counters. Fight continues with Ali going to the top turnbuckle and hitting Itami with the 054, but both weren't able to get back into the ring because that 054 took place on the apron of the ring, the hardest part of the ring. Both were out of the ring, both couldn't move very well at least, and ended in a double countout. So this feud will continue, and I'm always excited to see Mustafa Ali, but Hideo Itami isn't really that exciting. I mean, to be fair, he's very technical and he's very skilled, and I will not take that away from him. But he's just not as interesting as some, which is kind of weird to say about Hideo Itami. But yeah, Hideo Itami after the match was completely unresponsive, didn't move an inch. Drake Maverick charged out and tried to suss out the situation, try and get a trainer out. So, show ended fading black with both men on the floor in pain. But yeah, that was 205 Live. I'm thinking B minus. B minus. I'm gonna give it a B minus. Let me know what you think up in the polls up here. William Regal comes out to address the whole Aleister Black attack on NXT, but Undisputed Era decides we're gonna interrupt. They try to run down William Regal, talking about how the War Raiders have been attacking him, how Ricochet has been dodging Adam Cole, to which William Regal comes back to him and says, "It's funny that you should talk about a rematch, because you haven't approached me about a rematch." He runs down the Undisputed Era and lets them know, but you will have the rematch. 2 weeks from now, you will have your rematch for the North American title against Ricochet. And also against Pete Dunne. It's going to be a triple threat match, baby, against 3 of the best in NXT right now. So, get hyped, yo. But he didn't leave Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly out of the mix either, because those two, in 3 weeks, get to go up against the War Raiders. So yeah, that happened. William Regal left the ring with a smug look on his face. We had a backstage promo with Gargano saying, he had to get his head on straight. He's looking like his old self again. As they're walking out of the parking area, Lacey Evans is waiting for them and decides to antagonize Candice LeRae, saying that a good wife would be by his side during all of this. And decides to lay a finger on Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae is having none of that. She goes to try and attack Lacey Evans. Gargano holds her back, saying she's not worth it. She's not worth it. Yeah. For the next match, we had Lars facing off against a jobber. And you can already tell how this went. It's over. He's dead. We had a backstage promo with Nikki Cross apparently making a mess of William Regal's office and then walking out as Regal was in front of his office. Don't know what she did in there. She walked away going, I know. To everyone's confusion. The Mighty faced off with the Street Profits, coming out with the Mighty's gold chain and Montez Ford's black cup of mysterious liquid. Gross. But yeah, the Mighty comes out with all of that and trying to antagonize the Street Profits. So Dawkins decides to sock him in the face. And then after knocking around the Mighty for a moment, Montez Ford gets tagged in and then leaps like 4 feet over the top rope down onto the Mighty. After some great acrobatic displays with Montez Ford down on the ring, then leaping backwards up onto the apron with absolutely no effort. Dawkins gets tagged back in, but gets drop kicked by Shane Thorne, who tags in Nick Miller. The two begin just hurting Dawkins in their corner before he manages to break free and tag in Montez Ford. Ford again just floating through the air as effortlessly as Ricochet does. It is silly to watch. But yeah. After missing one of the hits though, he gets his leg stuck between the steel stairs and the ring post. So, let's see here. Who was it that did it? It was Thorne. Thorne kicked the stairs into the post, crushing Montez Ford's leg. And that's when the momentum begins to shift back to the Mighty, knocking Ford around and working the hurt leg. Miller gets Ford into a figure 4 leg lock, but after a bit of a struggle, Ford gets up and just starts chopping Nick down to size. He breaks free and attempts to go for the tag, but gets swept down by Miller. After getting beat for a moment, Montez struggles to tag in Dawkins, but is just unable to hit it. He gets hit by a figure 4 jackknife, pinning Montez Ford for the win. Whew. This was another odd matchup. I don't quite understand why the Mighty won this one. My guess is that they may just be going for a push here pretty soon, but I can't say with any level of certainty what exactly they're doing with the Mighty and what they're doing with the Street Profits. Then we had Vanessa Bourne versus the NXT Women's Champion, Kairi Sane. The match begins with Vanessa Bourne mocking Kairi by taking her hat and kicking it. Kairi was having none of it, and went on the offensive. The two exchange blows before Vanessa hits the Starry Night suplex. But after a brief exchange, Kairi Sane hits her with the Insane Elbow, and pins Bourne for the 1-2-3. While celebrating, Baszler decides to interrupt Kairi. And as Kairi is celebrating, she kind of stops for a moment, and then she just kind of like droops her head down. She's like, "Here we go again." Turns around to face Shayna Baszler. And Baszler tells her to enjoy her celebration while she can, because she's invoking her rematch clause. To which Kairi accepts that challenge and lets her know that they'll be facing off at Evolution. And that was how that ended. We had Keith Lee and Kona Reeves having a bit of a discussion backstage, if you would. Keith Lee, being stopped by Kona Reeves saying, Kona Reeves talking about how he's the finest. And Keith Lee goes, "Yeah, I've heard about you. The finest string of losses. But tell you what, if you want to talk down to me, how about you step into the ring?" So yeah, they're going to end up having a match. And then we get to the main event. Otis Derbovic versus NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa. Otis has the obvious size and power advantage. which he demonstrated from beginning to end of the match. After slamming Ciampa to the ground, Otis, he took too long to capitalize. Ciampa used that to his advantage, rolls out of the ring, and just was unable to escape Otis Derbovic, who drags him back into the ring. But as Derbovic tries to get back into the ring, he gets slammed to a steel post. Ciampa turns the advantage around to him, just knocking him silly. Failing to hit the pin, though, Ciampa goes for a sleeper hold, just for Derbovic to land on his back, crushing Tommaso Ciampa. After a quick exchange, Ciampa attempts to walk out, but Tucker Knight is there to meet him. And as he's distracted by Tucker Knight, Otis runs up behind him, pretty much tackling him and then dragging him back to the ring. After evading Otis for a little bit, he attempts to get the standing DDT, only to find out that Otis is a bit too heavy and sweaty for that. Otis turns the tables again on Ciampa after that failed DDT. Ciampa tries to hide behind the ref, using that moment of distraction to rake Otis's eyes, and then attempt the fairy tale ending, but couldn't land it. Eventually got Otis in the draping DDT on the apron, knocking him silly and down to the ground. Gets back into the ring. Otis tries to get back into the ring to meet him. Gets hit with another draping DDT, and Ciampa pins him for the 1-2-3. We all knew Otis Derbovic wasn't going to capture the championship, but it is a taste of what could be if he decides to ever go for a singles run. He's got the presence for it. The crowd loves him, so who knows. But it was obvious that Ciampa was going to win this one, but they put on a great show nonetheless. And in regards to NXT, I liked tonight's episode. A little weird in some places, but I guess it's part of its charm. All in all, I'm probably going to give NXT a B. Yeah, a B. And again, I'm going to have my poll up here. So if you click on that, you can grade both the shows with me. And let me know what you think. And maybe at some point I'll actually go over these grades. Who knows? But yeah. That has been Real Honesty with Jonn Ritland. I am not Jonn Ritland. I am the Derbinator. And you have a great night. Pew pew!